Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, here we are just before market close on Wednesday, November 10th. We wanted to take a look at Wish today. Now I took a long Wish position today because I saw the following setup and wanted to just talk through it and talk about how I'm planning to play it. Of course, make your own decisions, but this is just my plan and thought I would come in and share it. So just to set the context and the broader picture here, there's this long-term downtrend that stems back to like June of this year and had been holding downtrend resistance pretty strongly. And recently, Wish broke through that and has been consolidating now for about the month of October, so about a month in total. And it's looking like it might be coming to a bit of a decision point here. And so that's when I thought I would come in and try to take a position to take advantage of this decision point. I don't know why I can't say that. This decision point. So it's sitting near the bottom of this wedge right now. And so basically my play is pretty simple. You know, I have a 492 support zone that I see down here. That seems pretty obvious, right? It's been the bottom bound of where it's been consolidating. 461 down here marks this low. But my main play is on the break of this wedge. If it breaks to the downside and is clearly breaking this pattern to the downside, then I would close out my position. So that's basically my stop loss. Not necessarily this 492 zone, but maybe if it falls through really soon. But if it comes through, and even if it's up here and it decides to break down but doesn't come down to 492, maybe it just comes down to 497 or something, but it breaks down through the bottom of this wedge, which is the uptrend support, then I would take that as my stop loss. And it's very close to that at the moment. So who knows? I mean, tomorrow I could stop loss out of this. Obviously, the bullish hope that I have here is that it either continues to consolidate or starts to reverse trend and makes a big move to the upside here and has a pretty solid breakout and starts pushing back toward this 631 resistance level, which has held pretty strong for the last couple of months. And that's what I'm looking for to the upside. That's my first sort of price target, kind of see what it does at that 631, which percentage-wise would be a really solid gain, right? So that's why I feel like it's relatively low risk, higher reward. Just knowing that to the downside, let's say I did stop out at 492, even though it could be higher than that. I'm basically exposing myself to about 17 cents a share of risk for an initial target of about $1.20 upside. And on a $5 stock, obviously, like I said, that's a pretty solid percentage gain. So that's the play that I'm playing. It's just as simple as that. Nothing tremendously complicated about it. But I'll talk about a few other factors. On the MACD here, we see it kind of flattening out, but overall in a bullish trend really since back here in August. And even though it drew down here, you know, it was continuing to gain steam and move toward that baseline, and obviously the baseline could be a good decision point for this. It's, you know, tracking pretty close to the signal line at the moment, sort of threatening to throw a bearish crossover after today's pretty hefty sell-off of 7%. But, you know, we'll just have to see. I mean, obviously it's just compressing itself in this zone, so that's mostly what I'm leveraging. And the RSI is stretched down just below the mid-range at the moment. So the question here is it going to make a clear break to the downside toward oversell, or is it going to continue to hold near the mid-range, the 50, and potentially make a break above and put in a little run? On the EMA side of things, you know, it's sitting right about at that 12. It's kind of wrestling with it today and hit resistance on this 34 EMA. So it's kind of sandwiching itself between there. So that's another clear sort of break. Is it going to break below this 12 and flip that to clear resistance? If so, it's just a matter of time before it loses this uptrend supports. And that would, you know, like I said, clearly define my risk. Or is it able to sort of make a move here? And if so, then we have the possibility for several bullish crossovers, the 12 over 34, 34 over 50, so on and so forth, to help carry it out of this wedge and or to attempt to flip that 631 from resistance to support. So that's what I'm looking for on the upside and the downside. But again, just to be super clear, my risk, I'm looking for a break of this uptrend support on the lower portion of this wedge would be my stop loss, which is just, let's call it like 20 cents max per share. On the upside, I'm looking for a break here and to test this 631, which gives us about $1.20 or so of upside. So that's what I'm looking for there. Now, flipping over to the data, before we do that, I do want to mention a couple of things. One, in the description below, some folks have asked recently, thank you, very nice folks, how they might go about supporting the channel. A couple of ways. One, share these videos if you think that they're interesting on StockTwits or Reddit or Twitter or wherever you share stock stuff. Another way would be I'm going to put my Venmo there below. Obviously, stuff like that always helps. But obviously, if that's not in your realm, then that's totally fine. And I'm also going to be rolling out a Patreon here probably in the next month or so. So I'll share more info on that when I have it. But those are the best ways for the time being, and certainly appreciate anyone who's interested in helping support. So Unusual Whales also put this, and I had taken my long position before I saw this today. This is just the free alerts that they put out on Twitter. And here is a bullish trade in volume. It's considered whales trading. So 528's in volume with just 51 in open interest for this December 23rd $7.50 call option, which is a difference of 38.76% to the upside. So pretty crazy. And that's when the underlying was at $5.40, which it is not, because it has had a pretty rough day today, as you see here. We can go to the 1 day. Yeah, so I mean, this fall has been really, really tremendous today. And so this was at like 1:30 when they alerted it, so that probably came out prior to then on their sites. And so, I know that folks have strong feelings about Wish, but, it's just, I look at it as a play like anything else. This to me isn't about the fundamentals of the company. This isn't to me about the leadership and the progress that they're going to make over a period of time. This is a swing trade for me. This is, I'm going to get in and get out either with a small loss or hopefully a larger gain. So pretty simple, risk to reward. And on the Ortex side of things, the price has gone up per Ortex data over 9.5% in the last month. So it has had a nice upswing, as you can see in the wedge here as it's compressing, right? It clearly had this upswing. So when it tested that 631 that we're talking about, which it had tested before it was in this particular wedge, and a bunch of return potential per analyst consensus price target. So that, to the degree to which that influences anyone or anything to come in, obviously it hasn't in quite some time, so I don't know that it would. But the short data, 14.71% of the free float being shorted per Ortex estimates as of today, coming down a little bit. So maybe some shorts locking in profit today on the relatively steep decline and sell-off in Wish today. Days to cover still, on the not super high, but meaningfully moderate end of things. 2.82 days utilization, really high, 83.53. But cost to borrow is really negligible at 1.33. So that would be hard to, sort of like get a short squeeze going, because first of all, it's not having these tremendously strong price movements day in and day out, but also the cost to borrow is just so low. That's not adding any additional pressure to shorts to close out positions. But, this is just to say there's some distorted selling pressure here, clearly because of 14.71, holding on for almost 3 days for the time being. And obviously that plays a factor in the optics as we see them, in the public-facing market here. Well, we'll see. Maybe before the video is done, it will break the uptrend support. It's getting very close at the moment, but no, but that's going to do it for this video. I certainly wish you the best if you are in Wish, or if you decide to jump in. Of course, do your own due diligence and put in the work and make your decisions for yourself, of course. But do what you think is best for yourself. And I hope that you had a good hump day trading today, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.